Our next task is to add the manage posts table. So this is the table we are going to be adding. Now the first step to do this is to add the HTML for the table. So let's do that right now. I'm going to open index.html inside the post folder in our admin section. And after the HTML for table actions, we are going to add a table element to represent our manage posts table, and it's going to have a head section which will have the headings for the various columns. So these are the columns I'm talking about. There are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So let's duplicate these headings 6 times, and then we'll start adding or naming them. The first one is serial number, which is basically the numbering on the table. The second one is the author of the article. The third one is the title. The fourth column represents the topic to which that title belongs. And then the views, that's the number of views. And lastly, publish. Okay, I think we had an extra heading. So these are all the column headings. Now, after the head section of the table, we have the body section, which is going to basically be where the data resides, and we'll have that data in a series of rows. So this is a table row, we'll represent it with tr element, and now we'll provide the data for the first column. The first column is the numbering, so it starts at 1, and then the second, third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth. The second is the author. We're going to write our Melvin for now. The third is the title. And then the fourth is the topic. I'm just going to put self-help. The fifth is the number of views. Let's just say 1000. And lastly, the publish. This is going to be a link that the user clicks to publish the post. So this is assuming that the post has not yet been published. Now, even the post title is supposed to be wrapped around a link tag. For now, we'll just put a hashtag as a destination. We'll also do a target and give it a value of _blank so that it opens to a new tab. Okay, I'm going to show you why we're adding the link. So usually in the admin section, you might want to preview an article when you're just looking at it. So you can just click on the link and it will take you to the description or the post details page. Okay, so this is one row on the table. Let us add another row so that we can have a bit more data to work with. Okay, I've duplicated the first row. This is the second row, so the numbering here will be 2. And let's just leave our as the author for this one. Then the title should read, this is the second post. Let's just give it about 3000 views. And let's assume that this post has already been published. So the button now should read unpublished so that the user can unpublish the post. Okay, let us refresh this and see how it looks. Okay, it looks good. Now let us switch to CSS and give this table some styles. Okay, in our CSS, I'm going to scroll to the top where we define the styles for table. Here we have these are basically styles for table actions. So I'm going to rename it accordingly. Okay, and then after that, just before the admin layout styles, I'm just going to add a comment to represent the design or the CSS for tables. Now, before we select the table, let us look at a certain class I added up here. So there is an admin table class that wraps the box element that has a table inside it. So we are going to copy this admin table. Remember, the table is inside the element that has this admin table class. So first of all, copy the admin table class and then we grab the table. Now for elements or components like tables, they are very common components in web development in general. So I usually just go online and I Google how to design a table CSS or something like that, and then I take the basic styles, like the absolute basics where you have to collapse the border and so on, and then you arrive at something like this before modifying it to suit your needs. Alright, so I usually just go and copy some snippet of code and then modify, but since this is a tutorial, I'm going to take it step by step. So the first thing is we'll give our table a width of 100% and a background color of white. We'll give it a border collapse of collapse, and then we give it a border spacing of 0, and then lastly we'll give it a border of 1 pixel solid this color. So let us refresh this and see how it looks, and it is gradually coming out. Okay, I'm just going to give a margin at the top of, let's say, 16 pixels. Okay, just to give it some space between the table and the action or the filter and action buttons. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to give the horizontal border on each of the rows. So let us select admin table again, table, and then table row. Give it a border of, let's just make it border top only so that it's not too thick, and it's going to have the same color as the border of the table itself. So alright. Okay, so let's apply some padding to each of the rows and basically each of the boxes. So we are going to apply that border to the table header as well as to the table data itself. So basically all these columns you see here, all these cells that have either data or the title of the column. So we're going to give each of them a padding of, let's say, 12 pixels. Then make sure they are aligned to the left. Text align left. Refresh. Okay, and it's looking good. Now this text is a little bit too blue and we don't see the blue on the finished project, so let us fix that. Now we are going to select admin table td and every link element, and we'll give it a text decoration of none to remove the underline effect, a color of this color I prepared in the background. And that's not all. When a user hovers on a link, we then want the text decoration, the underline effect, to be visible. For example, here when you just view the page, it doesn't show that it's clickable or that it's underlined, but when you hover on it, it's going to underline the text to let you know that you can click it. So we are going to set the text decoration to underline. We'll go back to the browser and refresh, and it looks a bit more like what you have on the finished project. Okay, so there are certainly other things you need to style, such as these links within the title column, as well as the pagination. So we are going to move on to those other things in the coming videos, so catch you there.